Welcome to Mind Your Money. I'm Brooke DiPalma, and this is Yahoo Finance's flagship personal finance show. Think of this as your financial toolbox. For the next 30 minutes, we'll give you the latest money news, cut through the jargon, and tap into expert advice, all designed to help you take control and build a stronger, healthier financial future. On today's show, we're covering all things holiday spending. First, we let you know whether using a travel credit card can actually help you save on that holiday trip. And an expert brings us tips to shop smarter this holiday season and how AI is being used to do that. Plus, on today's edition of Ask YF Anything, Kerry Hannon answers all your year-end financial planning questions. So don't go anywhere. The holiday travel season is well underway, with AAA estimating nearly 82 million Americans are expected to travel at least 50 miles away from home over the course of the Thanksgiving week. And if you're one of them, you might benefit from opening a Travel Rewards credit card. Here with more is personal finance senior writer Kendall Little. Kendall, why is now a great time to sign up for one of these credit reward cards?
I think the main reason why now the holiday season is a great time for travel rewards is really that extra spending that a lot of us are going to be doing over the next couple months. So for some people that might mean traveling to see friends and family, or it could be, buying holiday gifts for your loved ones, or even just dining out more with people. And so all of those purchases can really add up to extra rewards and a great sign-up bonus.
Now, some people might have already planned their holiday trip, so they bought those flights, they got the hotels. Is it too late to get on this?
We are a little bit late for getting the best deals, okay. I'll say, but if you're a procrastinator like me, I do, on booking travel, then you can probably still find a couple of those last minute deals. But I will say the best thing that you can do at this point is really start looking forward to your next trip. Ooh. So maybe if you don't travel often, that's actually next holiday season, or it could be a New Year's trip, spring break even. But make sure that when you're booking now for this holiday season, that you're getting the most for every dollar that you're spending on travel. Some cards might offer the maximum savings on, you're booking directly with the airline or with the hotel, but other cards might reward you a lot more if you're willing to book through the issuer's portal, something like an Amex Travel or Chase Travel, Capital One Travel. You can really get outsized rewards for booking in different places.
All right, we're all taking notes, right, guys? What type of cards, though, are the best for holiday shopping in particular?
I always like to say the best rewards are going to depend on your individual spending habits, and that really applies for the holidays as well. So, if you have a ton of travel coming up over the next few months, really look for a points and miles card because it's going to reward that travel even more. If your holiday spending is a little more focused on, shopping for groceries for people who are staying with you, or even if you have family that lives close by and you're going to be filling up the gas tank driving to their house a lot more, look for a cashback card because those everyday expenses are much more common to find among those cards. But I will say, no matter what type of rewards you find, make sure that you're also looking at the sign-up bonus on that card, because when you're extending more over the holidays and purchasing a lot more, it's a really great time to make sure that you're meeting those required spending thresholds to get your sign-up bonus and really get some good rewards that you can use later.
Okay, so there are things that can happen when you're traveling. Maybe a flight get canceled, maybe the hotel isn't everything that you wanted it to be. So what are some benefits and protections that you should be looking out for in these type of cards?
Yeah, it's not as exciting always as rewards, but travel protections can be just as important. So I would say really look for something like trip delay, trip cancellation or interruption insurance, even baggage delay and lost luggage insurance. Those can be great if anything goes awry while you're traveling. But then also think about things that might happen when you're on your trip. So some cards offer things like emergency services access, and then rental car insurance, things that can really help protect you if anything goes wrong. Right. And I will also say make sure that before you book your trip, you're looking at the fine print of your card to see what exactly you qualify for, because it can really differ depending on what card you have.
And also know what you're getting when you head into this trip as well.
Exactly.
Kendall Little, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And an overall higher cost of living is putting pressure on consumers' wallets, with rising prices and tariffs putting a damper on this holiday shopping season. So what can shoppers do to prepare? Yahoo Finance's Casey Bond joins us now with the details. Casey, let's start broad here. How are consumers looking at spending this holiday season?
Well, like you mentioned, prices are really inflated this year. So a few surveys have shown that people are actually dialing back their spending a bit, but that doesn't mean that they're not spending at all. The average consumer is looking at just over $700 for their holiday expenses. So that's a significant amount. And unfortunately, a lot of people are planning to rely on their credit cards to cover those costs, which, most experts recommend avoiding at all costs because you don't want to start the new year off already in the red.
Casey, guilty as charged, because it is so easy to get carried away with all these sales and promotions that we're seeing right now. So how should consumers keep their budget in check this holiday season? And for those who maybe got ahead and started early, was that the right move? Is it already too late to start now?
Well, the good news is it's never too early to start when it comes to planning for holiday expenses, especially in light of these elevated costs. Starting early gives you a chance to get your budget in order, do some comparison shopping, hunt down those promo codes and deals. And in the case of retailers that offer price match guarantees, even if you did find something early on and then come across, a better price later, those retailers will match the price. Given that it qualifies, and then you can knock down some of that cost there. Now is also a really good time to do a budget audit. So look at your spending and areas where you can afford to cut back, even if it's just temporarily. Then, every week, every time you get paid, take some of that money and set it aside in a sinking fund, which is essentially a savings account for one-off expenses that aren't part of your regular budget. And ideally, put that money in a high yield savings account so that it's earning a good amount of interest while it's sitting in the bank waiting for you to use it.
Casey, these are great tips, but let's say that you see something you like. How can you give your budget some breathing room there?
Well, one option that's great if you have the time and energy is actually to pick up a seasonal side gig. Right now, retailers are hiring extra seasonal workers to help with the holiday rush. So if you have a retailer that you love, consider taking some shifts with them or providing services that are really in high demand this time of year, like grocery delivery, gift wrapping, even making handmade goods, as gifts. Taking on a few extra hours a week are going to help pad your budget and avoid you having to rely on credit cards or dipping into your savings when you are doing that shopping.
Casey, everyone I'm talking to right now, whether it be executives or even just my everyday friends, we're all looking to save money. And so what are some opportunities to save money overall?
Sure. Well, there are a lot of creative ways to save money during the holiday season. One that's really effective, honestly, is just whittling down that gift recipient list. If you have a large friend group or you have an extended family, buying gifts for every single one of those people gets really expensive. So consider asking them to do a gift exchange instead, where everyone pulls a name, and then you can spend more time picking out a really thoughtful gift for that one person and saving a lot of money in the process. Another thing to look at is your credit card rewards. So studies show that lots of people actually have rewards sitting in their accounts going unused, but those can go a really long way toward offsetting your holiday costs, whether that's shopping and getting that statement credit back against your balance, or even using travel rewards to offset travel costs. So if you do have a rewards card, make sure you log into your account and double check that you don't have rewards that are just sitting there and not being used.
Casey Bond, thank you so much for joining us, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Holiday shopping season is kicking into high gear, and Americans, while cautious, are still expected to spend big. The National Retail Federation forecasting U.S. holiday sales will surpass $1 trillion for the first time ever this year. Now, when you shop, it's important to be mindful of how prices may be different this year compared to years prior because of, tariffs. They've disrupted supply chains and overall led to higher prices for some products. So let's break down what could be more expensive this holiday season to try and get you ahead of that initial sticker shock. First up, electronics. While a lot of people like to get video game consoles, laptops, and smartphones around the holidays, most of those products are made in China, India, and Vietnam. Now, those countries have been some of the hardest hit by higher tariffs. Like take India, for example. There is still a 50% tariff on most Indian goods. The Consumer Technology Association estimates that tariffs can drive prices sharply higher, over 30% for smartphones, 34% for laptops and tablets, and 69% for video game consoles. Next, jewelry. Well, the prices for precious metals, they've exploded this year, with gold gold and silver hitting record highs. Plus, tariffs on Switzerland, while they've recently been cut to 15%, they were at 39% for quite a few months. So shoppers will likely still see some effects on pricing for those luxury watches and jewelry. And finally, that holiday meal might cost a bit more as well this year. Items like beef, coffee, bananas, and chocolate are much more expensive, not just because of tariffs, but also due to other factors like smaller cattle herds, as well as bad harvests due to poor weather. So think of other alternatives like chicken or even spiral ham. Those might be good ones. Not to mention how tariffs on steel, well, they've had an impact on manufacturing and packaging goods. But in this sort of environment, be sure to look out for deals, guys, because KPMG said the end of the season can have some of the biggest deals, but you just have to hope that the product is still on the shelves. And holiday season is basically a Super Bowl for U.S. retailers. KPMG estimates consumer holiday shopping will rise 4.6% this year compared to a year ago, or that's about $847 per shopper. Now, for retailers, what will they have to do to win over cautious shoppers? And for consumers, when's the best time to score those best deals? Julie Rodrigo, he's KPMG U.S. sector leader for consumer and retail. He joins us now. Julie, it seems to me like the holiday is longer than ever since we've been seeing deals for months now. So what does that tell you about retailers' strategy and maybe how this compares to previous years?
That's absolutely right, Brooke, and thanks for having me. You're absolutely right. Retailers are trying to grab as much of the wallet share of the consumer as they can, and they're giving consumers more options and availability to shop early and be in the store and to be able to make those purchases early as possible. So yes, the shopping season is much more elongated than you would have normally expected it to be.
Do you expect that it's just as promotional as previous years, or do you feel like it's heightened this year?
We do expect promotions to continue on. There is this expectation this year that consumers are expecting higher prices, and retailers recognize that. So retailers are going to be promotional. They want to make sure they're managing inventory very carefully through this holiday season. They don't want to have excess inventory at the end of the season, so they're going to be promotional. Look out for some really big deals coming into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, so that consumers can really enjoy and get some breaks on their shopping experience.
Julie, let's talk about those deals, because I feel like when I'm ready to jump in and make that purchase, I question, is now actually the best time? So when is the right time? Is there certain products that maybe have the biggest deals on certain days? Did that already pass?
I always say shop early, but not shop often, okay? Because you want to make sure you're sticking to your list, and especially if you're trying to manage through a budget, you want to make sure you're looking for those specific gifts and make sure that they're available at the time you want to shop. But yes, you have not missed the deals. There's still more deals to come, with the coming holidays here in the next few days. But I do think you need to be shopping early, but not shopping as often.
Okay, so be sure to look out, but don't increase my frequency in which I'm shopping the deals.
Exactly.
I got it. Let's talk about something that we're buzzing about right now, and that is AI, artificial intelligence. So who's using it the most to holiday shop this year? And Julie, do you see this as a game changer here?
It certainly can be, and we're starting to see early signs of AI usage with consumers. Based on our survey, 41% of the consumers are telling us that already using AI. And that percentage is even higher with millennials and Gen Z consumers, of course, adopting AI at a much higher rate. And they're using AI for research, for searching products, for comparison shopping, and ultimately clicking through and making those purchases.
And we heard from so many retailers like Walmart and Target, they're increasing their adoption of AI, and it's consumer facing. So how exactly are consumers actually using it to work this holiday season? And are they using it to budget? Are they getting gift ideas? Is this just the start of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how we would typically have used search, but you're using it in one of the AI platforms. And you're looking for first to research your products. You're first trying to say, hey, I want to purchase something. Give me some options, give me some colors, let me know what's in style. And then you start doing some comparison shopping. So we see a lot of comparison shopping between, well, tell me the features and the benefits between this product versus the other. And AI tools have been fantastic in being able to be that personal shopper with you and to be able to chat with you and say, well, what else would you like as a result of it? Or how else can I, fine tune this search for you or get you to a very specific product. So consumers are really using AI as their personal shopping agent to be able to narrow down their shopping results and to be able to make that purchase.
Julie, years ago on Black Friday, I used to go around and try to find the item I was looking for. And from what I'm hearing from Best Buy and other sources is that Nintendo Switch 2, wearables, they're going to be really hot items this holiday season. Can you use AI to find the best place to get these goods?
Absolutely. AI should be your personal bargain hunter. It should be able to tell you where these prices are. And in some AI platforms, it'll actually say best price. So you will be able to see that you are, selecting the best price available that day based on all of the various, stores or, platforms you're looking at.
Julie Rodrigo, thank you so much for joining us, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays, Brooke. Great seeing you.
Great seeing you. Lots more personal finance tips and tricks ahead, plus our weekly segment, Ask Yahoo Finance Anything, after the break on Mind Your Money. The holiday season typically means employers will ramp up hiring seasonal workers to meet the increased demand, but not this year. According to the National Retail Federation, retailers in particular are hiring between 265,000 and 365,000. That's far less than the roughly 440,000 hired back in 2024. Let's talk about that and much more with Yahoo Finance's Emma Ackerman. Emma, break down the labor market backdrop that we're just seeing overall.
Right, so we did just get our first official look at what the job market looked like in September from the Labor Department since the government shutdown. Again, that's 2 months old though. And what it showed us was that we did gain some positions in September, but the unemployment rate ticked up as well. And that data comes at us in what has sort of been considered a low hire, low fire hiring environment.
We've been hearing that everywhere.
Right, exactly. I mean, and essentially what that means, right, is that there aren't a lot of positions being created, but at least as of September, there weren't a lot of people who were being laid off or finding themselves out of work as well. We have some signs that that's starting to change, unfortunately. I talked to an economist this week who described the current labor market as perhaps no fire or no hire starting to fire. And we also saw a report from Challenger Gray and Christmas that showed last month was the worst October for layoffs since perhaps 2003.
Yeah, definitely a significant number, about 150,000 layoffs, I think. How does that translate then to what we're seeing for employers this holiday season? What's driving them to maybe hire less than they did a year ago?
Well, it makes sense, right, that if there's a broader slowdown in the labor market and if companies are starting to pull back, that we would see that among retailers as well, even though we do expect holiday spending to be strong. And I mean, there's a lot of demand for these jobs too. So it's certainly that they're not, finding enough workers who are willing to be able to hold on to these positions. I mean, I've talked to people who lost work in corporate America this year and have applied for some of these retail jobs or more part-time positions and still aren't getting them. Data from the Indeed hiring lab showed that searches for seasonal holiday work were actually up 27%. 27% at the end of September compared to a year earlier. So people certainly want these jobs. However, there was just a small increase in the amount of jobs posted year over year, according to Indeed.
And there are so many folks who really rely on this boost in end of the year income. So maybe if you can't find that retail holiday work or another holiday seasonal job that maybe you had in the past, what are some other ways that maybe you can help boost your budget?
Yeah, so I mean, I very much do consider this a your mileage may vary situation. While holiday seasonal positions appear to be lower, it might be different in your immediate area, so still be looking. Also consider that seasonal work can mean many things depending on what time of the season is most important to you. We're also heading into tax season, so you might be able to find some additional work there. Of course, there's always gig positions too, whether that means that you are delivering meals or groceries or perhaps it's helping people get around. But ultimately, I do want to acknowledge that this is going to be a tough holiday season for a number of folks who, as we may say, are on the bottom half of the K, or people who might have been laid off this year.
Yeah, and that K-shaped economy, the higher income doing really well while the low income moving lower, and Walmart even pointing out that that income cohort's really struggling right now. Emma, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks so much.
And it's time now for Ask Yahoo Finance Anything, where we answer your personal finance questions. Kerry Hannon joins me now with some of the top questions for end of year planning. So Kerry, first question, should I itemize or take the standard deduction this year?
Oh, Brooke, this is a classic. Here's the deal. It really depends on what some of your expenses are. So when you look at the standard deduction this year is $15,750 for single filers and $31,500 for joint married couples. This is pretty generous. So what you need to do is step back and take a look at it. Okay, these are the major things that people would deduct. It'd be number one, your mortgage interest. Number two, property taxes and state taxes, which is capped at $10,000. Your charitable contributions, and then medical expenses. But the medical expenses have a bit of a caveat there. They have to be above 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. So if you're going to spend more on those things, if you're a super charitable person or you've had a very unhealthy year perhaps, then you may exceed those standard deductions. And of course, for folks over 65, there's even a bigger bonus deduction this year as well.
Kerry, let's stick with mortgage rates and property taxes, because the next question is, can I prepay my January mortgage or property tax bill before year end to increase deductions?
Yeah, this is a question a lot of people think about, Brooke. The first thing, let's look at the property taxes. You certainly can do that, but you have to be certain that the property tax you're paying is being assessed this year. You can't be writing off something that's an expense that's going to be incurred in 2026. So you need to really take a look at what period that property tax is being accrued for. So the second piece of it is mortgage. Now the mortgage is kind of tricky because the IRS rule is you can only deduct interest for the period it was accrued for, which means it would be pretty hard to deduct your mortgage interest for January in December. So really you need to look very carefully before you try to do those.
And Kerry, final question here. How much can I still contribute to my 401k or IRA before year end?
Yeah, here, the thing with 401ks, you've probably already set up how much you're setting aside. But if you can, the maximum is $23,500, and then there's catch-up contributions for people over 50. In your IRA, your individual retirement account, the limit there is $7,000, right? And frankly, and then there's also a bonus for people over 50. You have to, for the individual retirement account, the IRA, this has to be earned income, of course. And in addition to that, you have to bounce it off of your earned income. You really do have until April 15th of next year to make that contribution, but you should be thinking about it.
Kerry Hannon, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And that's it for Mind Your Money, and stay tuned for Market Domination. That's coming up next.